trying to decide if I am ever going to take Demarion back to the movies. Now, he's nonverbal, so I have no idea if he would like it or not, but many, many years ago, he had an incident in a movie theater that left me mad, crying, and about to hurt someone. And I haven't taken him to the movies since. It is so crazy that sometimes I feel like people who are not around special needs children, they just don't get it. They don't understand that, sometimes there's absolutely nothing a parent of a special needs child can do in that moment that will quiet or calm their child. I'll never forget, I had taken the kids to see a movie. Demarion, this was after his accident, and so he makes a lot of noise sometimes. Yeah, we don't know what he's saying, but it's what he does, and we're used to it, and I understand that some people just aren't used to that type of thing, but we're in the movie theater. Mind you, it was a kid's movie, and there's all sorts of laughing and things going on, and once the laughter stopped, Demarion didn't stop, and he laughed. He was just making his normal noises. I was a little, I don't want to say annoyed, but I knew that there were people around me who were a little annoyed. So, I tried to give him a little popcorn. He hums when he eats, so that made him hum a little bit. So I didn't really know what to do, but I did kind of feel bad because he's not quiet when he does it. He's extremely loud. He doesn't understand, hey, we're in a movie, there are other people here. So I will never forget, there was a lady sitting in front of us, and she and her child just kept turning around. I would get him quiet for a little bit, and then there might be something funny and all the kids would start laughing and whatnot, and so he'd start back up. Well, they just kept turning around, and she kept giving me this look of, how dare you? And mind you, I was new at this whole thing. I just assumed that, hey, it's a kid's movie, it's gonna be loud anyway, kids will be laughing and doing all sorts of things, so he'll be just fine in there with other kids. I was absolutely wrong. I just remember the lady wouldn't stop staring at us and making faces and shifting in her seat and, huffing and puffing about it. So I finally just became really angry, and I took Demarion out. Mind you, he's in a wheelchair. It took a lot for me and my girls to get him up the steps because we didn't want to sit on the very front row, and we had parked his wheelchair down at the bottom. So I get him down there, I put him in his wheelchair, and we go out. I didn't want the girls to miss the rest of the movie, so I just sat outside of the movie theater on a bench with Demarion. And I'll never forget, I was so angry, and I was outside and I was crying, and I remember a worker at the theater came by and was like, hey, is everything okay? And I was like, no, I tried to take my son to the movie, this kid's movie or whatever, and I told him what happened and what was going on, and he was like, seriously? And I was like, yeah, the kids would start laughing, he'd get riled up, and he doesn't know how to quiet it down, as soon as the other kids. So he was like, ma'am, I am so sorry. And he was like, well, why are you still sitting here? I said, because my daughters are in there and I don't want them to miss the movie. And so I'll never forget, he went and got a manager, told the manager what happened. The manager came back and said, hey, we're gonna give you your money back for the tickets because that's really unfair to you. We're so sorry that happened. And I'll never forget, that woman came out of the theater. I don't know if maybe my oldest daughter, I don't know if she said something, made some noises. Who knows with Deja, because she is her mama's ride or die, and she will go off on people about that brother of hers. So I don't know if that was the case or not, but the lady ended up coming out of the theater, and she saw me sitting out there with my son in a wheelchair. And I'll never forget, she was like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that there was something wrong with him. Well, first of all, there's nothing wrong with him. He's just special needs. So that didn't make me any happier, because her apology kind of was an insult apology, I guess, and I didn't appreciate that. So I basically told her off and was like, hey, don't speak to me. You made me feel uncomfortable, and you kind of alienated my child, and it's not his fault. So I didn't really have much to say to her. This is one of those times when Human Edna came out, and yeah, I wasn't nice to her. I was upset. And so we sat out there, waited till the movie was over, and I vowed to never take him back to the movie theater. Demarion was probably 6 years old then, and I have never taken him back to a theater. He is 18 years old, and I just don't know. It makes me so nervous. I know I've heard before about there were times where theaters would have movie time for special needs children. Maybe that's something I need to look into again. I don't know, but I want to know your thoughts. If any of you parents have ever experienced something like that that made you decide to never do something that you might enjoy with your child again because of the reaction that you received from others. I don't know if this story is inspirational or whatever, but hey, it is what it is. It's my life. I decided to share it with you because I know there are a lot of things that we go through as special needs parents that we never speak about and other people don't know about. So, hey, that's what I decided to talk about today. Let me know what you think. And as always, I hope you have a blessed day.